Hi, Sophia. Thank you for stopping by. So before I even begin, let's just do a bit of housekeeping. Number one, yes, it is the same day. So if you've been watching a series of my videos, you've seen me in the same outfit. So yes, I still do not have a bra on. So yeah, let's move on from that. And second, this video is going to offend so many of you. So I already know that it's going to offend so many of you. But if you can just watch it with an open mind, considering that I don't know who you are, so I am not talking directly to you. Also, I'm not talking directly to your friends, so I don't have any personal issues with you, because we live in a day and age where people, even if it doesn't affect them, they get offended on behalf of other people. So you come to this channel because you just want the truth, you just want it bare, and that's how we do it on this channel. If it's your first time, karibu, welcome home, welcome to the Sophia gang. So it's going to be very real, it's going to be very offensive to some of you, like I said, but just take it with a pinch of salt. So I think about 2 months ago, I was having a Skype call with one of my friends. She lives in Canada right now. And she was telling me it's impossible for you to be a mom and have a career at the same time. The moment you become a mom, you stop having a career and you start having a job. And we spoke at length about it. And this thing has really been on my mind, you know, and also looking at the examples that I have around me. And just before I start, let's look at Wikipedia's definition of a job and a career, because those two are, mark you, those two are good things. Like, there's no wrong thing. Having a job is not bad, having a career is not bad, but you have to know the differences between the two. So according to Google, it says a job can be just going to work and earning a paycheck. A career means that each of your jobs, experiences, and training programs is helping you advance in pay or responsibility. So my battery died in the middle of this recording. So if I repeat anything, please just forgive me and understand. Anyways, as I was saying, so I was having this conversation with my friend, and it was really bothering me. Like, is it true? Is it true that when a woman becomes a mother, they stop having a career, they start having a job? I feel to some extent, yes, it is true. And when I talk of a job, I don't mean anything like low paying or anything, because you can have a job that's paying you 1 million shillings a month, and you can also have a career that's paying you 15,000 shillings a month. You know, the thing is, if I'm to put it in a more real life perspective, so for example, having a job at a hotel as a receptionist, and then you move and then you become social media manager for some hospital, and then you move there, and then you're getting a job as an executive assistant for a manufacturing company, and then you move from there, and you're in very many different fields. When you're in very many different fields, doesn't matter if it's on the same level or you're moving up. Basically, what you're having is a job. Yeah, I know it's a bitter pill to swallow, but you're having a job, my dear, you're not having a career. And like I said, a job is not a bad thing. For people who have careers, they started out as a job and then it grew into a career. So and again, when I talk of careers, most people just start thinking of these white collar, high power jobs. No. A career can be literally in anything. So I'll give you another example. Say you're a matatu tout, aka a makanga or a conductor. So you move from being, or let's not even start from a conductor. You move from being, I like this term, they call it kamagera. I hope I'm saying it right. They call it kamagera. You know kamagera, those are the people who sit in a matatu. They're not actually going anywhere. They're just sitting inside the matatu so that you think that the matatu is full, so that you can go in and then they're light. So you can start from there, for example. Then after maybe a few months or a few years, you move on to becoming a conductor, where you actually collecting money and all of that. And then later on, you become a driver. You drive one of the matatus. Later on, you buy your own matatu, because now you've made enough money to buy your own matatu. Later on, you're now part of you're the chairman of the circle, because now we have circles for matatus. So you're the chairman of the circle. And before you know it, maybe, I don't know who appoints them. Maybe it's the president or the minister. I don't know. So let's assume the president is the one appointing. So the president appoints you as the head of the Matatu Association. Like I said, I don't know who votes them in. So let's just assume. So whoever votes you in, votes you or appoints you as the chairman of the Matatu Association. You see, all this time, you started as this Kamagera boy to being this man who's well respected, who's the chairman of the Matatu organization, who actually has the power to say, tomorrow we are striking, and we actually strike. This person can confidently say that they've had a career in the Matatu industry. This person can retire and become a consultant. They can consult for the government, they can consult for county governments, for other countries when it comes to public transportation. So you see what I mean? So when I'm talking of a career, don't think of this very high-powered, it can be high-powered, no, there's nothing wrong with that. But a career can be literally anything. It just means that you've been in that industry for a while, so you understand how everything works when it comes to that particular industry. So you see, if you're having a job and today you're working in the matatu industry, tomorrow you're working for telecommunications, you're in Safaricom, the other day, the next year or the next month, you're into shipping, you're now bringing in cargoes. The next time, you're now bringing in stuff from Turkey and you're selling. Then you move from that and now you're doing God knows what. So all these things can be very lucrative and they can make you millions of shillings, but it is still not a career. So now that you have the definition straight, let's go back to a woman and having a job and having a career. First of all, having a career takes a lot of time and patience and effort, because you need to climb step by step. If you go back to the matatu example, for example, this person has taken a very long time to get to wherever she is right now. Actually, scratch that. That's a more male example that I'm giving. Let's go mostly female. So let's say, for example, you start as a receptionist at a hotel, a very nice classy hotel, say Kempinski or any other hotel that you can think of. You start as a receptionist, for example, and then one way or the other, you get into waitressing. I don't know which one is higher or lower, but I've been a waitress myself and I loved it. Let me just put that out there. So you become the waitress, right? And then after a few months, you do such a good job, the manager's like, you know what, I'm going to make you in charge of the bar, okay? So you start working in the bar, now you're the manager at the bar, so you manage the bar area. And then after that, it may not be in the same hotel, maybe you get a job offer in another hotel and they make you head of catering or head of head of what do they call it? These people who clean the rooms, I forget the name. So maybe they make you head of that. And as you're doing that, remember, you're also going to school. You're also increasing your knowledge when it comes to the hotel industry, because as you realize, this person is just working within the same field, right? So maybe you've gone to school and now you've studied HR. So another hotel hires you and they give you the HR position. So because of your knowledge, because you've worked at reception, you've worked at the bar, you've worked as a waitress, you've been the head of those people who clean the rooms, you know. So you already have a wealth of experience when it comes to hiring. You already know, if I'm hiring someone as a waitress, this and this quality is what I'm looking for. So they're not just hiring someone, they're hiring someone who actually has experience. So let's assume from HR, you move from HR and then you move maybe to finance. I don't know. You move to finance, for example, and now you're actually managing the books of the whole hotel. And you know how to manage the books because, again, you've been in this industry. And for you to move from the receptionist to finance, and from finance to actually opening your own hotel or becoming a consultant when it comes to the hotel industry, it means that you've gathered a wealth of knowledge. And this wealth of knowledge has not just come from moving from one job to the other, one hotel to the other, but being within the same field, okay? So now let's go back to now being a woman and having a job and a career. So having that as an example. So say, for example, at the age of 25, just random number, at the age of 25, while you were still working as a waitress, you got pregnant. So you got pregnant, and say you're married and everything is good and dandy, and you got pregnant and you're to have a baby. First of all, it's going to take a lot of your time off work, because now you have to take care of your child. And depending on if they hire you or not hire you back, so let's assume they will hire you back, you've already lost a lot of time. And within any workspace, there's always someone who wants your job. Whether you like it or not, there's always someone who thinks your position is better and they want to be in that position that you're at. So the moment you're outside of your job, someone else is eyeing this job, and they're definitely gaining more mileage on you. The other example is when you're having, especially when you're married and you're having a child, most of the promotions are probably not going to be in the same area, meaning maybe not in the same country or the same county. So say, for example, you're working in Nairobi, you're, say, a bank manager in Nairobi. You've worked yourself from being the teller to being the bank manager, to being the maybe assistant bank manager, okay? But now in Mombasa, the same bank has a position for a manager, okay? And you are the one that they want for you to go and become the manager there. One, you're married, so, and your husband also has a good job, so they're not just going to quit their job because they're following you to Mombasa. You know, that's ridiculous. So that's one. Two, maybe your child is in school, so it means you're going to uproot them from the school and take them to another school. So what happens with most women, from what I've seen, what happens is the woman will choose not to take the position, because one, it will mean the two things: either you don't take the position, just remain where you are, or you take the position and then you're like, what will my in-laws say? Because all your friends will be like, hey, umewacha bwana yako Nairobi unaenda kuishi Mombasa. Hey, people, fisilet will take your husband. So the women who, okay, they're not insecure, so they know that their husband is not going to cheat and everything. But there's also the other aspect of in-laws. So the in-laws putting pressure on your husband, like, you're married and you're here as a single dad taking care of this child, or you're married and your wife and kids are living in Mombasa. What are you doing with your life? Why did you even marry in the first place? Because now it's the maid who cleans the house, or maybe it's the husband himself who cleans the house, and it's just going to bring a lot of conflict, especially if you're not cut out for a long distance relationship. So because of that, most women will not take the job, which is a possible promotion and a career advancement. They'll not take the job. And if they do take the job, then it comes with a lot of baggage. And most of the time you find that they just break up. The marriage just ends. Another reason why I think it's very hard for a woman to have a career and still be a mom is because there's a lot, especially if you're coming from a male-dominated field. So I'll give you an example of my mentor. She's an iron lady. I'm not going to mention names, but she's very good. She was a CEO of an oil company. So guys, this is oil. Oil is male dominated, and I'm talking males with big egos and big bank accounts and big mouths as well. And this is a woman who's like, hey, I'm here, I'm the CEO, and I'm here to stay. So imagine being in such a position and then going away for 9 months or whatever amount of time for you to go have your baby. Again, like I said, there's always people who are looking for that job for you, who are looking to take over from your job. So what she told me was she had to delay having a kid. And that's the other thing as well. More and more women right now are delaying or not having kids in favor of their career, not in favor of their jobs. I did not say jobs, in favor of their career. So what she told me was she had to delay giving birth because she knew she would not have the time, basically, because you choose one of two evils. So those evils are: one, you choose to have a career, right? You have a child already, but you choose to have a career and advance your work. It means that you will not have enough time to spend with your kid, and that's basically what she was saying. She was saying she did not have enough time to spend with her kids, which is very which she does not completely regret, because it's a decision that she made. She did not have enough time to spend with her kids. But then again, her career really, like, it grew, and it grew in leaps and bounds. Because you can imagine, you have clients, for example, you have clients who say, oh, after this meeting, let's go out and have drinks. You know, when they say, let's go out and have drinks, that's when deals are made. Deals are made when you're having drinks, when you're relaxed. They're not made in the boardroom, in the boardroom. They're made when you're playing golf, when you're having drinks. That's when you make your deals. So you can imagine, as a mom, you're thinking, I need to put my kids to bed, and I need to go for their recital, and they have a school meeting, and they have this and that, and they cannot, you know, and it's going, you'll have to choose, basically. That's what she'll say. You cannot have it both. You either have a good relationship with your kids where you're present, not just financially, but you're present physically, where you're present, or you neglect your kids. And by neglect, I don't mean that you never see them. I just mean that you're not there as much as you would like to be, or you're not there as much as other mothers are present in their kids' life. And the other option is you have a good career, like you neglect your career. So it means that you cannot go for those meetings, you cannot do this and that. And when that happens, these are very subtle things that happen in offices and in boardrooms, where your child is sick, you're not there, you have a recital, or your child this and that, and you know, kids have so many other needs. And when that happens, when people are considering you for a raise or for career advancement, those are the subtle things. They're very what's the word? Subliminal. Yes, they're very subliminal, in the sense of it's in the back of people's minds, but they don't really put it out as a reason. So that's why sometimes they're like, oh, I think this person X is very good, but there's just something about her. I don't think she'll really be able to fit into these shoes. So maybe the person already knows what it is, or maybe it's just playing at the back of their mind, but they can't really put a finger on it. But honestly, that's it. It's just that your priority is not with the job right now. Your priority is with raising kids. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that you will have to choose. And by the time you're making these decisions, by the time you're choosing, you'll end up having a job, because at the end of the day, maybe you start feeling frustrated, in the sense of, I'm spending too much time in this job. I'm not seeing my kids. I'm not being a good wife as I want to be. And I just feel like I need to find another job. So when you find another job, say it will be in a completely different field, and it will keep going on and on like that. So you start just getting paycheck to paycheck, which is, again, not a bad thing, but you're not growing a career, you're growing a job. What you're having is a job. You're making millions of shillings, or you're making very little money, but it's not a career, it's a job. So having said that, there are a few women who still manage to have a career and have a kid, like have a family, basically, have a child and balance both. It is not easy to do for most people, but what most people usually do is they have a husband who's very hands-on. So if you have a husband or a partner who really supports you and really supports your career, like I have a friend right now, the wife, she's in school, she's doing her master's, and she's also working. So you can imagine, by the time she's getting home, she is exhausted. She really does not have the time or the energy for anything. But then my friend, the husband, would take care of the kid, drop the kid in school, pick the kid back up, make sure that the dinner is made. They do have a nanny who runs the day-to-day, but again, you need the parent to be there. So what's sad is, most of the times she will come in when the baby's asleep, and she will leave when the baby's still asleep. So most of the times they'll only see each other over the weekends, but at least this child has one of the parents active. So long gone are the days when usually this used to be a very dad thing. Like, you're like, oh, my dad is always giving money and is always paying for everything, but you never see your dad, because your dad is always on business trips, or they're coming in late, they're leaving very early. So it used to be a very male thing, but more and more we're seeing this is a very female thing as well, especially for females who are growing their career. And mama, there's nothing wrong with that. If you feel like that is how you want things to be, or if that's how things have to be. Because for example, with my friend, that's how just things have to be. Like she leaves work at 5, by the time she gets to USIU and she's moving from town to USIU, she does her studies, she drives back home. By the time she's getting back home, it's around 10 o'clock because of traffic and all that. By 10, the baby's already asleep, you know, and she has to get very early, she has to wake up very early again at around 5:30. She's already left the house because of traffic. So you see, with such a lifestyle, we're having more and more women who never see their kids in favor of their career, and also in favor of like advancing, because the only reason why she's studying is because she wants to advance in her career. And again, there's nothing bad with that. It's just that you will have to choose. You'll have to choose whether you want a job or you want a career. So the few people that, in my eyes, I feel have managed to do it are people who had, either you have your child very early, which I'm not encouraging, by the way, but the people who have the kids very early. And by early, I mean straight from high school, you already have your child. So we're talking 2021, you already have a child. So you see, by then, you're still looking for jobs. You're not looking for a career, you're still looking for jobs. Because mark you have to start from looking for a job, then whatever you like and advance in becomes your career. So by then you're probably living with your parents, so your parents are basically raising your child for you. So, which is also not a good thing, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, you know? So if that's the case, then, because a career, for me, I feel like a career really starts in your 30s. So in your 20s, if you're having a child very early, then you'll get a chance to go to school, go to university or college, and decide on what you want to start growing, and then you start growing it from there. So say you've had your child at 30, at 20, by the time you really know that this is the field that you want to get into, then you're in your 30s, your child is already 10 years old, then there's a chance for you to advance. You have a good chance of doing it. The other way is what I was saying, then you just have an active dad. Have an active dad, and then you become the passive mom, and then you can have a child who may not be seeing you as much, but then you have your career as well. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like I said, let's keep it positive, let's keep it respectful. If you don't agree, just disagree respectfully. But then again, I know I'm going to say this and it's going to go in one ear and come out of the other, because some of you are already commenting and I've not even watched the whole video. But such is life, you know, c'est la vie. Thank you for watching this video. I make videos every Sunday, and I will see you on the next one, because my battery is flashing again. So I will see you on the next one. Leave your comment, like and share, and do all of that good stuff. Okay? Bye.